Alright guys, this is my first video. I'm going to be rebuilding this Sears Craftsman Air compressor. It is a 5 horsepower 20 gallon, and the guy I got it from, which I picked it up dirt cheap, said that it's just not building up pressure and he wants to get rid of it. So we're going to go step by step and rebuild this thing and see what's going on. Alright, first off, I've got all the tools. This right here is a Sears Craftsman T25 Torx that you're going to need. I've got a 5/8 wrench, 3/8 ratchet with a 3/8 socket, and a regular flathead screwdriver. First off, we need to get this cover off. You're going to need your Torx screwdriver. There's 2 screws here in the back. Let's take those out. There's going to be one on this end, on the top. Okay, now we got those out, you're going to take your flathead screwdriver. Let's go ahead and take this top off. There's 5 or 6 little slots here around the side. You're just going to have to pry this up. This cover comes off pretty easy. That's it for the cover. Now that we have the cover off, I'm assuming the problem's right here in this diaphragm. So we're going to go ahead and take it off anyway and look at it. This hose right here is your feed hose for your air that builds up pressure. We need to take that off. And just use your 5/8 wrench. Go ahead and take it off the head. Now loosen it up from the tank. Now that you have it off from the tank, now you'll be able to take your head assembly off. Turn this around this way. Make sure I'm still lined up. Yeah. Let's get a little bit closer if you can. There we go. You got 4 bolts on the top of this head, which are your 3/8. Let's go ahead and take those off. Make sure you put these bolts back in the same holes they come out of. And there's Torx specs that we'll have to tighten them up with too. So we'll take this head off. It's got the head and it's got a spacer adapter in there. Put those together. There you go. There's your head assembly. Your 4 bolts. Just leave the 4 bolts in there. What we'll do is we'll have to replace these O-rings that are in here. It should come in the kit. There should be an O-ring there that we'll have to replace. Just leave that sitting there. Now this right here is your actual cylinder head, your cylinder. And it looks like that's what the problem's going to be. This just slides right out. This right here is your actual sleeve, and I don't know if you can see that, but inside that sleeve is all scarred up. Maybe you can see it like that. It's got a few cuts in it, scrapes. Looks really rough. There's no way it's going to build up compression with that. So we'll probably have to replace that. We'll go ahead and take off this fan, which we're going to use the 3/8 socket. Take this off. It's got a bevel cut in it, so it only actually goes in one way. If you put it on the wrong way, it's going to wobble. So you'll know that it's out of line. Keep these 2 together. Put that to the side. Now we're going to have to take off this piston. This piston here. Back to the Torx wrench. Torx screwdriver. Anyway, take this, just loosen it up, and all the way. This should just slide right off. Now that you have that off, you can look at the actual ring that goes around this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty chewed up right here. It's missing some pieces. It's actually broke. And we could just replace this by itself, but the sleeve itself is already damaged, so I'm going to have to replace the sleeve and go ahead and replace this compression ring too. That's what it looks like. The problem is it's not going to be able to build up compression because air is getting around that. So we have to order us a kit, put that thing in there, and see what happens. Alright guys, I ordered that kit. This is the new kit, the new assembly. It's got a brand new sleeve. It's chrome plated on the inside. They gave me a new piston rod with it too. I didn't really need that, but anyway, it come in the kit, and it gave me a new ring that's already pre-installed. And it's given me both the O-rings that I need that we're going to have to replace. And I paid $43 for this kit right here, and I didn't hardly pay nothing for the air compressor, so I'm going to be getting out pretty cheap. 43 bucks. I think I paid $25 for the air compressor, and we're going to go ahead and install it. First thing we're going to do is get all this other stuff out of here because we don't want to interchange any of the parts. You're going to slide the cylinder inside, the piston cylinder inside of the sleeve. It's going to be hard to put in there. Don't put any oil or anything on it because this is oilless. This right here is actually going to go back into this bearing. So we're going to have to put it right back in there. Give me a second to get my tools together. Alright, now that I got my tools together, slide the piston cylinder back in there, the sleeve and the connecting rod, and put them around your bearing if your bearing's still good. Now you don't want to force anything because this right here has got to be lined up pretty good. This is my brass hammer with a plastic handle. You may have to hit the top of the connecting rod here to get it down into the sleeve, but don't force it. Just take your plastic and hit it down. Okay. And then we're going to have to line this up. And it needs to be exact. So it should just push on hand. If you got to force it, something else is wrong. So we'll loosen up this Torx. It looks like this one here is an Allen. And we're going to have to tap that on. Okay, we'll just get it flush. Make sure the cylinder lines up, which it does. And we'll give it a spin to make sure everything's in the right area. And it looks like everything does line up good. It's spinning okay and it's real tight. And I'm thinking that's going to do it. So now, we'll have to put this top back on. We're going to replace these O-rings, which are the ones in the kit. These are the ones that we got in the kit. I'm going to replace this top O-ring, take this spacer out, and I'm going to replace that O-ring right there. And when I get done with that, we'll bolt this back on and go from there. Alright guys, we got the O-rings put back in on both sides. Got my bolts and we're ready to go back together. I got the connector rod on. I've got the new piston sleeve on there. We're going to place this right on top. And we're going to take our 3/8, tighten this back up. Same process we did when we were taking it apart originally. Now all of these bolts here have got torque specs. And they gave me the sheet when I ordered the kit, so I'll hold it up for the camera to see. You have to pause the video, I guess, to see what the torque specs are here in a minute. And I noticed there wasn't any other videos on YouTube how to rebuild one of these, so I figured I'd do one. This is my first time ever doing a video, so I don't know how you like or save or favor any of that, but I hope y'all get your little bit of experience out of it by doing this. I'm just going to snug these up for right now because I got to get my torque wrench out and torque them to the right specs. So we'll tighten this up. Now that it's tightened up, we're going to have to put back our hose back on there. Remember how it come off? We're going to have to put the fan back on there. Remember, the fan's only got one slot, it only can go in one way. We're going to put it back on there after we tighten up the connecting rod. Put this back on there, put our hose back on there, and we're going to fire it up and see what happens. Alright everybody, I got everything back together. I got my feed tube back on and snugged up. I've got these right here torqued, which I said I'd still give you that the torque spec sheet. I've got these torqued out. I've got my fan blade back on, and I give it a few turns just to make sure nothing's binding up. Everything looks like it's okay. It's pretty snug. I'm not going to put the cover on for right now. I'm going to take it outside and go ahead and plug it up and make sure it builds up pressure before I actually get on there and listen for any leaks. Any leaks around here, the seal or anything, just make sure everything's okay. Once everything checks out okay and it builds up pressure, I'll put the cover back on. And I spent $25 for the air compressor, $43 for the kit, a little bit of time, and I'll turn around and sell this bad boy for $150 or $200 easy. Alright guys, here's those torque specs I was telling you about. I guess I don't know how to stop and take pictures and pause and all that stuff, so what we'll do is I'll just give you the description and move real slow down. This is all the instructions, so you can pause the video, I guess, if you have to read it. I'll come down real slow. Like I said, just pause the video if you gotta read it and all. And that's it. I hope y'all liked the video. Maybe this will give you a little bit of insight on how to fix this compressor. Like I said, I'm gonna take it outside and try it, make sure it builds up pressure, then I'll put the cover back on and we should be good to go. And I don't know how to like or follow or whatever, but if you like the video, I guess just say yay or something. I don't know how to do all that, but anyway, y'all keep watching the videos, because the next project I'm going to have is I'm going to build this little minigun, and I'll take you step through step on how to build this thing. It's got the rotating barrels, and it shoots the airsoft BBs. Alright, y'all stay tuned and watch out for this project. It's going to be a little bit time consuming. Thank you.